Morning, everyone. Morning, Jethro. Yeah, well, I've got to face some music as well about some things. Yeah, that's why you've got to keep your sense of humor cap on head. Joseph, we're normal. Just give it a couple of minutes and we'll get started. Morning, Solly. Morning, Marius. Good question. I can't remember. It's not written down here. There are dollars written, Brent's written, NZD, CAD, CHF, JPY. And the Meta. No, didn't write down whatever it was. Ah, yes, CAD JPY. I think you're happy. Range trade, just as yesterday, came off a bit. Didn't shoot the lights out, bit of a range trade. Quite a big range trade, actually, bigger than I thought. Yeah, about an 80 pip, 90 pip range trade. So you thought might be some more downside. I was hesitant to go in long or short. I was waiting to buy the pullbacks, basically. But I think you got in around about there, if I remember. So you should have done okay. Okay, I'll pass. Right, good morning, Khimura. Got the profit, but still a fail. Sure about that. Yeah. Okay, right, yeah, I was just CAD JPY. I'm still range trading. I'll just leave that alone for the time being, to be honest. Okay, let's go through some stuff we looked at yesterday. Remember, guys? Not sure I recognize any new names there, but I'll just say it anyway. You can always post on the chat line, or say chat if you want by just looking at the normal. Preferably keep muted in the meantime, just in case there's a bit of background noise to interfere with the training room. Okay, we'll start up there with the, well, I'll leave the AUD USD because we're out of that. I don't want to join it now. We took a profit lunch, that's fine. So let's start with the Brent. Well, it was mentioned yesterday, I think Clinton said it could get to 75. Just hoping it was going to hold at 79.80, not 79.80, sorry about talking rubbish. This one here, about 80.50, and then bounced, which it did, and then it came flying off again. Unfortunately, it stopped everybody out at the 79. That's why it's so valuable to have stop losses, because you worked out your position on that, and if you're stopped out or it's annoying, it happens rather than it's, well, blows your head in. You know what I mean? We can certainly look at that. Keep an eye on that for a moment. So where to from here? To be honest, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Clinton's objective of let's go to 75. Where's 75? Down here somewhere. Yeah, that's where he's coming from. I see we've written that. I get it now. probably down there some. Well, we're 75 now. Just a second. Yeah, I see who's come from that sort of area there. It could well occur, or it could bounce from here. To be honest, at this stage, I don't know. The temptation is unbelievable. He comes off and he's stopped out. He's going to bounce from here and go back in again. I'm only human like everybody else, and I was tempted. I thought, no, I shan't scream about a bit of discipline. I couldn't have practiced myself, so I didn't. I might be wrong, I might miss out, but I personally think it's the right thing to do. Stay aside. It could come back to 75. It could bounce. I still have a feeling to the upside, simply because I think the producers don't want a $75, $70 oil price. They got bills to pay like everybody else, and they'd rather we pay them with a higher oil price and vice versa. That's the way of putting it. But so I still see that like the upside. It doesn't sound suggesting we should come back again. Just a second, a bit of background noise there. Okay, so keep an eye on it. I'm still going to say buy the pullbacks rather than sell short. At this stage, I say leave it alone. If anybody disagrees or has another opinion, grateful to hear it. That's what this is about. So forum, discuss it. As Jeff had just said now, he had a thought on the buy and I sell. Another time, I thought maybe more upside the CAD yen, and he thought downside. It turned out he was right. So that's why we have to pool our ideas. Okay. Well, still, that's fine. Johns, I don't say you should modify your stopper in like that, and I'm really sure you should enter it now. But if you're still in, I think the slight odds in favor of a bit of a bounce. But again, hesitant to say jump in. That's about all I'm going to really say at Brent at this stage of the game. Okay. Dollar strength, as I, to be honest, personally expected. It's a big sort of a safe zone, if you like. They go to the dollar. Any weakness at gold, they tend to go to the dollar. And that's borne out by a jump up to just short of 106 from around about the 104 mark. No surprise there. So the dollar strength going forward, and we got that right on most of the dollar trades. So the Brent stood out as a baddie, but again, that's why we have the position sizing being so vital. Okay, I want to go through trades later on. We can do all that, etc. But I'm just on the phone this morning to somebody who didn't understand why it didn't reach the stop and they kicked out the dollar rand. First of all, I explained, do you know your leverage trading? Do you know your margins higher? Do you know the costs involved? And person had been trading and clearly didn't know. I tried to explain on the phone, but it's obviously a little bit difficult to understand. So it's easier in the trading room on the Zoom, go into more detail. I'm going to assist for others. If I word it in a way that people understand, they can try and word it another way for those more experienced. But before we go into any more, I can't overstate the fact you've got to know you're not in equities, you're in derivatives, which is speculative trading, and it's leverage. And that leverage is fantastic, but it's got pros and cons. Just remember that. If you don't understand that fully, you have to. If you haven't got time to explain here, then Google it. You've got to understand. Ah, there you are, Shirley. Great. You've got to understand. So we're going to go through our past trades for the moment, Shirley, and then I'll try and explain it again, maybe some help from some of the others, what happened to you, so you fully understand that basically those things don't happen again. Right. Right. So the Brent didn't work out. Let's go through some of the others. NZD CAD, we're still in it, but it seems to be drifting. I'll do that next on my list. Now, it's still aiming to get stopped out, doing its best with it. It's trying to get stopped out. 57 is the stop. We're still in it, but it's amazing it's not coming off. Look at that, all those greens. You think by this time we might get a bit of a pullback. It's defying gravity. Still, we got the stop in at 57, yeah, 86.57. Leave it there. A miracle might happen. It might suddenly fall. Happy days. But be prepared. It might get stopped out on that. But still, anyway. Okay, euro dollar. With the sell that was sent out. I'm going to move on from the buy on that one, if you don't mind, Jess. So we'll stick with the sell that was sent out. We got in on the trading room idea of 1.05. It's okay. It's not shot the lights out, but it's okay. It's plus minus 40 or just under with a spread, maybe 38 pips, 37 pips in profit. It came down further, as you can see on the chart there, down to 40. So it was nicely in profit. Now, the question is, if those are in it, do we want to move the stop loss or not? This is always the difficult part. If you hadn't moved the stop loss in Japanese yen, you'd been really smiling, you still took a profit. If you'd left it where it is and it didn't go up to where it is now and came off, your nice profit could have turned into a loss. So just my personal opinion, I think I'd rather modify to protect and miss out on bigger profits than go for the bigger profit and then down your winner turns into a loser. That's just my point of view. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's just that people are leaning more and more to the fact that inflation is not under control. Everyone read my morning update today, which I posted on the my WhatsApp group. You'll see that I've been saying this like a stat record. The world debt is virtually posing to be untenable. So there's going to have to increase interest rates, even if it means putting people out of work, because inflation is just really getting worse and worse. So yeah, yeah, what I was going to say. Dick, by the dollar pullbacks, basically. Okay. Now I'm profit on a buy again. You're on a buy on the euro dollar. Okay. Well, good luck. I still think sells away. Yeah. So if you're still in it, on the sell anyway, you got a choice. Do you move it, stop down to entry at the 1.05 or leave it where it is? It's quite a wide stop there at 1.0612. If you don't want to move down to entry, maybe you reduce risk to bring it down a little bit closer, something like that. But yeah, if you do bring it down to entry, remember you can risk being knocked out on a bounce without making any money, but at least you will not lose on that trade. So I'll leave in your hands whether you want to modify or not. Okay, hope that's all clear. If you want to buy it, I'm not too sure about that, but we should see. It's come down to support, came down further, and you bumped up again. Remember, this is a 9.5-hour candle on the daily. It's only 9.5 hours only, started this morning. Let's look at the 4-hour. Yeah, it's popped up, look, down, popped up, down, hit on the 4-hour, the 54-hour moving average, popped up, and looks like the sells are coming back in again. Yeah, even the sells are coming in on the 1-hour if you see the wick. So the 15, I don't tell us much. Hey, look at how it works, eh? Even on the 15-minute. Because people use it self-fulfilling. I guess we'll give you a chance, that's why you must have it. Have that 15 to 200. 10 if you like, but you must have those. Yeah, I would not be buying this. That's my opinion. Again, it's all an opinion. Tempted, you'd be tempted. It's your money. If you feel strongly, you might turn out to be right. I personally don't agree. I think for the sell, hold on. I'm not sure I'd be joining it now as a sell. I would be getting in if it pumps up a bit. But I'm looking to downside. Okay. But anyway, whatever it is, we're in the profit at the moment. Your choice whether to move to stop, protect, or whatever. Hope for a bigger move down. You might get a bit of noise down here before it eventually hits our TP if it gets there. But yeah, we're in a profit. That's the bottom line. Hope that was all clear. Another one's a CHF JPY is a buy at 145.12. Sherlin companies all trading with ideas we came up with yesterday. What's it? CHF 145.12. Okay, that's doing very nicely now. About bloody time. I had a bit of a worry about that. Remember the noise, the up and down. Look at those candles, the up and down. It's called the noise. Came off a bit. Psychologically, we want to go immediately. We enter in our favor. Doesn't always work out that way. So I would stop with strategy and patience. And in this case, it seemed to come to the party. It might get a bit of noise around figured 146 where it is in the moment, and coupled there, as you can see, with a bit of resistance. So your big choice is this: do I take my profit or do I move my stop? That is up to you. If you take your profit, it might bounce through. I suppose you can always enter again. But what do I think? Think being the operative word, I think we might get a little bit of a pullback here, but I think it's a good chance it will continue upwards after a pullback. So the point is, you modify your stop to 144.80, you'll bank a profit for sure if it gets stopped out. But then again, it could pull back 20 before going up again. So that means we might as well take it now. Why get, let's say, 70 pips profit when you get 90 pips profit by exiting? Hope you're understanding what I'm babbling on about, basically. So, yeah, in a nutshell, I can't make that call to close because if I'm wrong and it shoots up, you're not going to be very happy. but I think they could get a bit of profit taking, pull back here before another move up. So depends on yourself. Seem to be holding there. Look at it. Seem to be holding. But if it starts drifting back, it might be worth taking, or move your stop. Now, if you decide to move the stop route, I think 80 is a little bit close. 20 pip pullback is not very much. If you got in the trading room at 145.12 or better, you've got plenty of profit to play with. So I suggest moving it to 145.50, and then be surprised if it pulls back that far, and see if we can get a push through this round figure and take it up further. Or if you're nervous about it, take the profit. Those are scenarios I'm putting forward to you, and then you can choose either. Hope that all makes sense. Gone rather quickly, but I hope it makes sense. The experienced traders should understand what I'm on about. The newer guys, listen and learn, as they say. All traders are in that position. Are you happy with that? Did it make sense? Too quick, too slow? Yeah, I know you got in there, but I'm saying what I was talking about there. Did it make sense? Too quick, too slow? Given those options, did it make sense to what I'm thinking? Good. Okay. I'm convincing here particularly because I don't really been trading that long. So if you haven't been trading that long, it's two good things about it. He's catching on. He's making the effort. The other made a bit of good news. It doesn't take ages and ages to get the hang of it. Attend the trading room on a regular basis, and you suddenly find you're trading after a month. A lot better than guys who've been trading a year or more who've never been to a trading room. Sean's not here at the moment. You can ask him. He's been trading for 2 years, and he's been really learning last few months. Okay, so that's it. Guys who've been trading a fair whack of time wouldn't have understood what I was on about. Pierre's only been doing a short time. He's made the effort, and that's good to hear. I'm expecting Jethro and the rest to know exactly what I'm talking about. They've done it before. Okay, so that's the share check JPY. Euro-dollar we've mentioned. Okay, yeah, the other one left was a share. That was Meta. We got into Meta short at 1-1. I still got a Microsoft as well. So I didn't write Microsoft down. Why didn't I write it down? Sure I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. 253.60, and then Meta. We'll do those two now. Have a quick check. I know the market. Remember, if you're doing shares, the market is closed. You can't modify, enter, close, do anything with it. You cannot do anything with the share like you can't do with Forex over the weekend. Right, Meta, we got it at 117.70. It's just under $4 per share in profit, which is quite pleasant. So that's not too bad. So we're doing okay on that one. I'm just mentioning it because you can't modify anything about it or close till it opens. Microsoft is doing very well. We've got it at 253.60, 238 is our target, 244 it is now. It's just past the halfway line towards the target. Very nice, thank you. 469, yeah, we're just over $9, nearly $10, about $9.50 per share in profit. Very nice indeed. So overall, the trade we got out, not too bad. The bad one was the Brent stock that was crossed through there. The worry one is the NZD CAD, it's still hanging on there last I looked. But CHF JPY is a lovely profit. Meta's a nice one. Microsoft's a nice one, and the euro dollar's in a profit as well. So overall, not too bad. Okay. All right. We guessed right. The GBP USD. I don't know if anyone's still in it. If you're still in it, I'd strongly suggest you start with the modified stocks. And I'm even thinking maybe enter if you're out to another one. We got the GBP USD. I think it was on Friday. Was it this week or Monday? I think. Forgotten. I went through all this stuff here. I think it was on. No, it was on Monday. Beg your pardon. At 122.80. Well, that's clearly 150 in profit, and most people might have been out. You shouldn't if you'd followed the GP group where I said 22.40 a stop. I've mentioned him up modifying since then, and we mentioned it yesterday. We'll hang on with the stop where it is. It's still in a profit at 22.40, a 40 pip profit. It was stopped out. It didn't go back and hit you out, so the theory should still be in it. If you're not, well, so be it. You made a profit anyway. Anybody still in it? Because then if they are, well, this is first ever, but yeah, thanks for that reminder. Yeah, Jethro, you're a star. Yeah, it's amazing psychology. Hey, the power of the negative is so much more powerful than the positive. One thing, you know, I always say you go up to a very beautiful woman and you say there's something wrong with your nose, and she'll be upset. And the other 99% of the body is perfect. That one they fixate on it, or maybe handsome man. I'm not particularly handsome man, same thing. You know, so basically, yeah, you forget the good ones and you concentrate on the bad ones, and that's just pure psychology. Thanks for that reminder. 5 to 1 is not a bad hit rate. Thanks very much, Jethro. Those kind of reminders I rather like having. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, so going back to this one, anybody still in the pound dollar? Because we start talking about modifying again, or are you all out of it now, all taking profits? So good point. I'll try to discuss that a bit. Thanks for that. So if you just give me a quick answer. Anybody still in the pound dollar? Okay, so looks like I'm not getting much response, as in yes. Stop loss. Okay, it looks like more no's than yeses. Okay, so there's no point in modifying the stop on a non-existent open position. So you modify with stop with profits. What does that mean? You stopped out. Modify stopped out with profit. Well, that's fine. Most of you shouldn't be stopped with a profit. I can't say I had a loss on it, but anyway, in fact, impossible. But okay, so right, we're out of that one. Right now, as you can see, just want to mention to show the new guys. Strongly suggest you've got in your chart, you put in the 200, the brown, and the 50, which is the blue line, simple moving average, and save it. Just go right click and save it in your templates. Very important. Why is it so important? Then just put your name in and save it. Okay. Why is it so important? Because, as I say, it's self-fulfilling. Around the world, people use these. As I showed you just now, I went to the 4, the 1 hour, even the 15-minute, and I think it was Brent actually, and showed how I reacted to it. Remember, it's a 200-day, 50-day. On the weekly, it's a 200-week, 50-week. On the 1 hour, it's a 200 1 hour, 50. Always multiply the 50 and the 200 by the candlestick. Okay, so that doesn't. So it's not the 200-day on the 4 or the 1. It's multiplied 200 by the candlestick value. Okay, so put it on there and keep it. It is very important. Just 2 seconds more for you guys. If it's in the higher up zone, we call that the buy zone, the neutral zone, and below the 2, the sell zone. And more complicated than that. And just as important, active support resistance. Now look what's happened. It's gone through there, bounced up, and now it's holding around about these levels here. And can you see that? It's trying to break through. It came to, this is the 10-day, by the way, which is my personal choice. I think it's quite valuable because it came down, attacked the 10-day, and then the buyers came in. It's all about buyers and sellers came in, but look how long it lasted. Not very long before the sellers came in. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. I've zoomed right out so you can see it properly. As it went to attack it, the sellers came in. Look at this on the 4. It's a 4 times 50. Remember that? It's a 200-day on that one there. Get it? 4 on this one. Same principle. All right, different moving average, but still the principle is the same. So it's trying to break through. It's tried the buyers coming in. It's the 4 hour. 8 o'clock it started. I'm not speaking too quickly here. Got to get the hang of this. So it's only 1 hour 50, 1 hour 50 minutes old. This one popped up. Already the sellers are coming back in. So the likelihood is a break to the south. I'm looking at the DXY on my other chart, on my other screen, and it's popped up. It's just coming off a little bit at the moment, but it's now on hourly support. The overall prognosis, in my opinion, is downside. Okay, so bottom line is, if we can clear this one down here, a confirmed one, the full, maybe a full candle below that, maybe short term, I don't know, or a daily down below this sort of level here, we can short it again. Let's see how far it is down to here. That's another 160 pips. I personally see at this stage 1.2 big attacks. Now, the question is, after that, all that chit chat, are you going to wait for confirmation, or are you going to be Rambo aggressive and preempt it and jump? Now, either way, you need a wide stop. Okay, so we'll stop first. Yeah, we're going to have a wide stop. I don't have to that wide, but at least about 100 pips stop. What do you reckon? Should we wait for confirmation, or do you want to be aggressive and join it now? What's better? Wait. Okay. Probably wiser. Okay. Right, so keep a strong eye on that one. I think there's a possibility of an entry there coming up where we can take it further down. The pound's very overcooked. Now, before we get to XOM, I just want to do GBP catch. Somebody requested it. Let's just zoom out a bit. Again, it's just had such a run up like the NZD CAD. I think there's got to be some time of pullback. The major problem with this one, I've been saying that at this level here, and I've said that this level here, and it continued to defy gravity. Maybe the gravity is going to start taking over. So all I think from that together, boring, I know, leave it alone. I want more confirmation on some strength creating of the Canadian before I can send it down. Okay. But another one to watch as a possible high probability short trade. I just want a bit more confirmation. As I say, remember Jethro mentioned about the yen. When's it going to start weakening? It seems to have happened. When's the Canadian start to strengthen? I haven't seen it as yet. Might happen in the next hour or two. I don't know, but I want to see a bit more confirmation. CAD strength before I short this down. Okay. And Jethro's agreeing on that one. So we'll just leave that for the moment. Okay. XOM was mentioned by Gerard today, maybe look at a short. Well, I say it's all academic now because we can't do anything about it till 3:30. But I'm afraid to say I disagree. I think it could come down here, and I think it's going to hold and then bounce up. I personally think the oil's oversold, and I think some buyers are going to creep in on the technical side, and I think they're going to start maybe closing off some of the taps out there to shorten supply, to increase the demand, to get a better, higher oil price. I see that if we can get a move down to here and a bounce, I think the lovely entry. Oh, it's only 40 cents away. Hang on, closer than I thought. Okay, I see a bounce here for a move back up. That's my opinion. Yeah, okay. I'm going on to what you're saying there, Rachel, in just a minute. Sorry, let's say go in a minute. Okay, so keep that an idea. We'll see what Gerard said. He might go through and he's right. I personally expecting a bounce here. Keep an eye. I think it's a high probability chance of a bounce and to make a couple of bucks. I'll move on. Hope we'll agree on that. I'm hoping by saying that he's frustrated and annoyed. I keep on about it can physically kill you, but break your account. If you break your account, you get grossly overexposed. If you've got 10 grand in your balance and you go into a Brent trade for argument's sake and you lost 2 grand, that's 20% risk. That is grossly overexposed. Okay. The only reason you go anywhere near 10% is when you've got very, very small amounts of money. 2 grand or less for a trading perspective is minuscule, minute. So you have to break those laws to the cost, otherwise you can't trade. But and I'd say you should around about what's 5 grand, 5,000, 550, about 5-6% and 5 grand, and then maybe 40k upwards. You should really be to your balance in a trade. So let's say you've got 50 grand in there. You shouldn't, if you're stopped out or it hits your stop loss, the maximum risk should be in your of that overexposed. So I'm hoping with bloody thing goes, I'm annoyed about it. That's fair enough. But if it kills you, you know what I'm saying? Metaphorically speaking, overexposed. And this is the absolute number one. Sorry to go on and on and on and on and on and on about it, but people ever learn. That is where the problem comes in. You must be careful of those volumes, understand your highly leveraged instruments, and it can work as quickly, profitably, the same speed against you. That's why you've got to look after that downside. Number one, rather build it up on a consistent level than be a major lottery win today and then put it all back tomorrow. What's the FTX? Billionaire yesterday, broke today. That's not the way to go about it. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think, well, I'm certainly holding it and just hope it comes right. Okay, Jethro, load shedding again. That's a nightmare. Okay. Maybe you have to invest in an inverter or something. Not cheap because the supply and demand put the price up a bit, but at least you can trade them. Still in our weaves, NZD CAD 39, just holding. It might get stopped out. It's just hovering just below the stop loss, but we'll see. But hang 5, okay. But do not move the stop away. Tempting though it might be. Always when you modify a stop, you should be towards or better than entry, not away. Okay. Okay, good enough. Okay, so yeah, going back to that, I'm actually going to bring Brent up again. Keep an eye on it, guys. It might be a possibility of a buy, but we'll just wait on. Maybe later on this afternoon, I don't know. Keep an eye on that one. It seems to be holding us above the 146 in the CHF JPY. So if that can start moving up nicely, we can start moving the stop again. So you've got it 145.50. You're in the profit anyway. It's better than entry. See how we can go from here. So that's quite a nice one. Forgot about that, Mike. You're quite bloody right. Forget about that, because if the towers go down, you've got a problem. I actually only thought about that the other day when I tried to load data into my phone and I lost everything. And I battled to do it. And it didn't occur to me till afterwards. Of course, it's not just me load shedding, it's the towers going down. They've got to get the jennies going to power up again. Very good point. Did it? How exciting for you, Harold. Did you hear that, guys? Front page news. This and Engas actually moved up a little bit. Sorry, I'm a bit cynical on Engas. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave that alone. Okay, where were we? See, the Nasdaq came off. I think somebody was asking what's happening here. I can't remember what they're saying. Short the rally seems to be the way forward. I've been saying that in my weekly snippet for the last goodness how long. Same principle. 12,000, aim at 11.5, 200 step. You need a big stop on the NAS, as you know. 200 pip minimum because of volatility. And now it's looked like it's just come down. And actually, yeah, you should have hit your TP. Anyone who did it at 11.5. What a pleasure. What's going to happen now? I have no idea. Is 11.5 going to hope for bounce back up, or is it going to break down? No idea. Wait and see. Okay. Same, I think Fani was asking about the S&P. Yeah, it's coming off, a grant you, but hang on, let's get some proper data here. But again, the breakdown maybe, or pull back up. I'm not sure at this stage. We did a good trade on it. Some guys might have been stopped out in the profit. We got it 4071. Some guy might still be in it in the profit. I don't know. We're talking now about entering. I would hold 5. I'm a bit nervous to join it now. Okay. Well, I do see downside. We do a bounce before that goes. Short the rally, in other words. Okay. The Dow same principle. Same principle, look at that, almost identical. Short the rally. Maybe it gets back to 34,000, short it down again. Again, keep an eye on your DXY and your yields. Okay. On that subject, I'm just going to put the DXY on for you guys who haven't got it. Copy, paste it, and keep it. Trade not knowing what's happened to the dollar is not a clever idea. It's like driving without a speedometer, not a good idea. I'll put the economic calendar, also very important. Keep copy and paste this if you don't already have it. Just quickly take 2 seconds to give it to you. And then you can see each day what fundamentals are coming out, which will affect market pricing, as you know. Okay. Right, so there we are. Okay, yeah. I don't know if Shirley's still here. She's asking to understand about leverage. She's still here? Well, she's good. You're still here, Shirley. Great. Right. First of all, again, when you're trading, I would leave the ZAR alone. Thanks, Shirley. Yeah. ZAR is what we call an exotic. You have the crosses and you have the majors. The majors, sorry guys, just quickly go over this. There's the euro dollar, the pound dollar, the JPY dollar, and the Swiss franc, CHF, and the dollar. Those are the majors. The crosses are the Canadian, the New Zealand, the Australian. Plenty of liquidity, so therefore lower spreads, lower costs. When you go to the exotics, it could be the peso, it could be, I don't know, whatever. Outside those ones I just mentioned, we call them exotics. They tend to be more volatile, but more to the point than that, we want volatile to trade, is they attract higher costs and they have less volume. They're more illiquid, they're more thinly traded. The volumes are smaller. To give you an idea, the euro dollar is without doubt the most traded instrument of all in the world. The euro dollar has more trades on a daily basis than the entire world stock market put together, to give you an idea. It's over $1 trillion a day contract value on the euro dollar. So therefore, it normally has the least cost because it's economy of scale. The bigger the turnover, the smaller the margin and all that. Right. So rather, if you don't understand fully leverage and all those things, rather leave the ZAR alone because it's 12 pips or so on the dollar ZAR. And then you go to less traded, like the euro and the GBP ZAR, so it attracts more costs. The GBP ZAR is 25. How do we know that? Because you need to be able to get this information. So what you do is you click on the instrument, you right click, you go to specifications, and it tells you there the spread. That's 25.00, which is not the 00, that's 25 pips. So the odds are, unless you get a decent run, on the banker's side, not on yours. Okay, I'll come out. Those categories. Okay, we'll do the AUD and come back to that in a second. This is a cross. A major is always the dollar, US dollar, obviously. Then you get the euro, the pound, the yen, and the Swiss franc. That makes up the majors. The AUD, NZD, and the CAD are what we call the crosses. They're also illiquid, not quite as liquid as the majors, but don't even worry about it. That's just being a bit pedantic there. They're all good. Leave out the exotics outside those, 4, 7, 8 currencies. All right, AUD, CAD was asked yesterday, and I'm trying to look at the range on this one. Look at this one here, and what's the range? That's my problem. It looks a lot on the chart. It looks like about 200. It's only 70 odd pips, 77 pips. From the right top of the wick down to the body there. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 days plus today. So it's 4.5 days with that 70 pip range. It's right in the middle of that range as well. Number 2. Number 3, these are all the reasons why I locked it. LIA, it's in other words. Number 3, it went up, sellers came in. Went down, buyers came in. It's hovering in halfway house. So if you were to short this right now, which I agree, I think I see downside as well. The CAD looking still a bit weak. I'm expecting strength coming in. You're going to put the stop here, just above, right? Just above here. Let's read a bit more. We're talking about a 50, with the spread, about a 55 pip stop. We're going to aim for, at this stage, you're aiming down here. That's not going to hack it. You're risking more on your return. You could get a bit of noise here. It's not going to hack it. You've got to take it down here. It might happen, but it doesn't seem to be giving any evidence for it at the moment. I think there's more reason to stay out of it than jump into it. But overall, Brady, I agree with the downside, but I'd rather wait for confirmation. I like it. Wait for the noise to pass. Okay. Wait for, you put a fib in here, like the range is too small. Wait for the noise to pass. And the fact still in the buy zone, but I think it's more Canadian weakness lately that's giving that buy zone. I'm not a problem selling an overvalued area in the buy zone or buying the undervalued in the sell zone. So bottom line, I think to sit on the sidelines on that is more reason to sit on the sidelines than to go in at the moment. But yeah, like the look of it. Okay, I'm just going to quick back on the majors again. That's the majors like it's the euro, all against the dollar, Swiss franc, GBP, and the yen. The crosses, like I said, AUD, CAD, and NZD. Any outside is called exotic, means it's more thinly traded, can often be more volatile, but often more costs involved. And that's why we come back to leverage, the margin is higher. The margin on the dollar rand ZAR is about 600, it's about 650 plus minus rand deposit or margin for 1 micro. 0.01 is a micro. So if you've got something like £1,000 in your account, 65%, not your risk, it's your deposit. Remember, margin means deposit. 65% of your entire £1,000 has gone into the deposit. Right, that leaves you 350 free margin. You've got to have decent free margin for the ups and downs. Once you don't have any free margin left, your position will be called. We call that will be closed. We call that margin calling, because the deposit or margin is purely collateral for the person who's lending you the balance. When you go into this, the derivative means leverage. If you put a deposit down, a bigger amount. Remember, you put a deposit down to buy the car. It's your car as you drive out. But no, it isn't. It's still the bank's. And if you sort of start losing out on your deposit or collateral, they'll want that car back. Okay, so that's what you've got to remember. So just make very, very sure that when you go into something on a small account, don't go in without understanding you've got a free margin and don't overexpose. That's why I'm a bit iffy on 500 to 1 leveraged accounts for beginners, because they don't seem to understand what leverage means, the pros and cons of it, and they fall into the trap because they've got much higher leverage, which means the deposit's so much more smaller, which means they're going so much more bigger positions, and then it goes against them, the noise, they're stopped out, they think we've closed it without hitting the stop, and we're a bunch of scammers all the time. No, we're not. You didn't have it, you're overexposed, you didn't have enough free margin to maintain the collateral of that open position, which basically means it'll automatically be closed. Simple as that. Like you go borrow money from the bank, they have collateral. Take the collateral away, they'll call in their loan. Same principle. So please remember that. Leverage trading means you put a deposit down. The small deposit means you can go and buy more stuff. But if that noise moves against you, you can be knocked out. The exposure is the contract amount. Okay. You get it now, Shirley. Brilliant. That's why it's so important. I'm telling you right now, Shirley, a lot of people trade this without understanding the pros and cons of leverage, and that's the problem. You've taken the trouble to come here. A lot of people say, I'll join the trading, but don't pitch up. It's up to them. You might just say, here, take these pills and it'll cure you. They take one, they don't bother with the rest of them. It gets back again and they blame the doctor. No, you've got to get these basics understood. Sound a bit complicated at first, but in practice, it's like 1 and 1 is 2. It becomes habit. You want to get these out of the way so you can focus on the values of the market. The last thing you want to do is you want to be knocked out for a margin call and the trade's going beautifully and you're not on board because you're overexposed. That's why do not touch the NAS or the Dow unless you've got at least 5 to 10K upwards in your account, because the movement is so volatile, you'll be margin called before it goes in the direction you're correctly anticipated. Okay. Good. Right. Covered that. The other guys who know this probably yawning a bit, think what the class is for, but I just need to get this across to some people, because we're going to class and coming out and asking questions means they're still not getting this sort of thing I've been talking about. Okay. Right. Anything else on the front? Yeah, it might be, but you've got to remember, Brady, anybody, what you call it, the swamp, the media information source controllers don't like. They've spent a large amount of money digging up stuff. If it's good stuff, they'll go berserk. If it's small stuff, they'll exaggerate it. Okay, so this might be true, but it's under investigation. But I'd rather do some research and facts before we buy into the media attacks. Remember, the media don't like Musk. Remember, they had a control of Twitter, because the guys in Twitter, like Facebook and all these guys, are part of the tech billionaires who control the information source. And he went outside that. He went outside the club. And though when you do that, you become an enemy. So they're going to be after you. Simple as that. And they use us. We the proletariat, are cannon fodder to play with, to maneuver, to get our emotional juices going, to attack what they want you to attack. Be very careful how you're mentally manipulated by the information source, i.e. the media. Very careful. Propaganda at its most sophisticated. Okay, might be true, but I'm saying be open-minded on that. Be very open-minded on it. Be careful. you often get emotionally upset or down or even do it. Don't forget, you're new to think exactly like that. Horrible thing to say we're being played, but I'm afraid we are big time. Okay. Right, AUD-CAD, we've done that. CHF, JPY, done the other ones. I'm going to be honest, I can't find any major new great ideas to jump in at the moment. There's a few possibilities coming up, but I couldn't find anything to jump into at the moment. But if you find it, please post, because that is going to be the #1 priority. In the meantime, I just want to mention again, right-click, templates, save your template once you've got it. So if this happens, new chart, this happens, oh, there we are. If this happens, now you're stuffed. You want to get someone to help you, they're all busy, they like chatting to other people, etc. And you don't know what's going on. What do you do now? Right, well, there's two things you can do. If you haven't saved it, you can go down, right-click, and go down to properties, and then set the chart up as you like. Once you okay it, it's set up, then you can right-click and you can save the template and put in, as I said before, whatever, put in, I don't know, Bill Boggins, it doesn't really matter. Whatever you want to put in there, your name or whatever, and save. So this happens, like I've shown you there. All I do is right-click, I go to templates, and I pick the one I like. Out of that little, I like this one. You're back in business again. Okay, I hope you've all got that. It's not a platform training session for those basics we can cover. I also want you, very strongly want you, I can't force you, but I strongly suggest to you, you go to insert, indicators, go to trend, go to moving average, and make sure that says simple, 50, choose the color. If it's 50, I use that color, it's up to you. And make sure the line's a little bit thicker and save it. Do the same on the 200 and save it. And if you like the 10, do that. Pick the colors you like, and then you'll have them. I find I've used all these indicators. I've mapped these, you name it. And I've narrowed it down over many years to keep it simple, stupid, and watch the price action, understand the basic fundamentals, understand the buyers and sellers, which the candlestick is telling you, what the buyers and sellers are doing, and see where other people are most likely reacting. If everybody's got, I'll tell you a better idea. Everybody on the car could see the bloody great pothole. What are you going to do? You're going to stop the car. If it's a small one, you can have all these, there's a bit of resistance here, there's a bit of support there. These are minor ones. They're not in your face. You can miss it like a small pothole and damage the car. But this guy high there, if you can't see that as a high, I'm not saying you're daft, I'm saying you need to go and see your optometrist very, very quickly. Vision Works, I recommend strongly, okay? Because that is in your face and obvious. So people naturally react to it. If you bought there, you bought here, right? You bought here and up it goes. You saw this high. What do you think you're going to do? You're going to hold on, hope it's going to shoot up there. You're either going to close it or you're going to move your stop just in case it does. But whatever you do, it's not going to let it run because you think it's going to come out there. A lot of people will be closing there simply for that reason. There's nothing wrong with the dollar. There's nothing great about the yen. Why has it come off? Simply because a large amount of trades on leverage. Remember, the contract value is highly leveraged, means a large amount will be selling to exit their position to take profit, and has a negative effect on the price. Opposite round. This is a sell, so the exit, you buy to exit. That's where we get the bounce from. Hope that all makes sense. Okay, Howard. Sorry I'm going over stuff like that. But if there's a trade idea you want to discuss or go over again, that takes absolute precedence. But I'm just taking a few moments because it's quiet. I haven't got a particular trade rush into to go over this. Right, simple exponential. All the exponential means is it moves slightly quicker at the end of the line. I'm going to use a 50-day exponential. That's a simple. Why I'm saying simple on exponential? There's no other reason. It's more widely used. As I say, if everyone sees it, they're going to react to it, aren't they? If you see a brick wall in front of you, you're not going to keep on walking. You're going to stop, aren't you? Everyone reacts to it. It's self-fulfilling. But I'll put one on to show what I mean. It reacts a little bit more quickly to the moving at the days prices are moving. Put it at 50. And I'll use that color. And I'll choose this exponential. See what I mean? It's a slightly quicker reaction. Can you see that? All the moving averages, that's the moving smooth price. This is look at the price moving. It's like a jagged edge. The noise up and down. It takes all those days, divides it all up, and the average price in a smooth line on this particular instrument, the dollar yen, has been coming down, and the dollar has been strengthening and going up. On the slightly longer term, the 200 average price is angling down and looks like it's might start moving up now because we believe in the dollar yen. This is only 10 days, so you get a quicker reaction. That's 10-day average. So if I put a yearly average, it'll be more flatlining. That's what an average is. So if you want to put an exponential in, you can do it pleasure. Sometimes people, when they cross or not cross, I'm not in favor of it because it's always lagging the price action. I'd rather go support and resistance, and that's where other people can clearly see it. So it's a more obvious exit or enter. Hope that all makes sense. So there's your exponential. Okay, that will be clear on that. This is held there. It's pretty obvious. Held there is pretty obvious. We want to see to short this to break down there, or we want to buy it. We want to buy a breakdown there or a move above that. That is pretty obvious, pretty simple, and most people, unless they say they've had extreme sight impairment, can see it. Running on MACDs and exponentials and Williamson percentages, it's all great fun, but it's already telling you what the price action's already put in place anyway, and the price action comes first. That other stuff I'm talking about gets its information, the price action. So rather keep an eye on the price action and see when to get in or out. When you get out, as to high, take it. When you get in, a bounce off here. Why a bounce? Because it might continue down. And keep an eye on the daily calendars. Okay, it's not a calendar. And once you get that sort of concept going, I found it simplifies everything enormously. Because I have, just like you guys, I had all these MACD, stochastic, you name them. Bearing in mind, just to cover my answer, or the line here, that's my personal opinion. Joe and Bill and Mary and Sue all love MACDs or whatever. That's it. The 15 exponential cost and the 26 simple moving average. Happy, it's working for you. Happy, I'm not saying it's everyone's opinion. I don't do that stuff. I keep it simple, stupid like this. Just my opinion. If it works for you, stick with it. If it doesn't work for you, find something it does. But try not to chop and change all the time, because then you get more confused than help. Just remember, it's all about buyers and sellers. Just remember that concept and emotion. Okay, so right. Any other questions on the concept, the trading, the charts, position size calculator? If you haven't got it, get it. You must have this. Go to live chat, go to technical support, and get your position size calculator. Number two, if you're going to do a share, ignore this completely. It works for everything except shares. US shares or overseas shares, we don't do GFC anymore. You need to get what do you call it, the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, it's on your resources summary, LMS. I don't access to Stock Market College, I just know it's there. Okay, I think that's all clear. Those are the basics cleaned up. I will repeat in quiet moments going forward because, as I say, new guys coming in and it needs to be understood. Right. Any trade ideas forthcoming at the moment? Brent's not getting going, so stay aside, seems to be working. Are we still muted at the CAD? Nearly stopped out. We might have been stopped out. Not quite. Not quite. We're nearly out. Oh, yes, the spread is another thing. Very good point. Right. You're in a buy on this one, right? And your TP is 50, right? And you see it hit 50 there, and it comes off, and you're still on board. Why are you still on board? My TP is 86.50, and it hit that. I can see the line of the chart. Why am I still in? Because when you enter, on a buy, you enter on this price. You exit on that. So look at that. There's a 5 pip spread there. So that's got a 50. That's the buy price. The sell price has got to hit 50 to kick you out. Now, if it's something exotic like the dollar rand, that's 12 pips. So if your TP was 50, your sell is still at only 38. So the 38's got to get there to hit your TP. And the line of the chart might be higher. That's what the spread's about. We call that the market maker spread, and that's basically his business, or his margin, if you like. Okay, so you buy on that and you exit on that. If you sell short, you sell on that and you exit on that. So if you sell short on that, that price has got to get to 43 and then you break even. Okay, that's what I say. So make sure if you've got a 5 pip spread and you see right the TP, let's put the TP here, 86.06. Just to be safe, put your TP about 5-6 pips below that, so you don't have that problem. Okay, for sure. Hope that's cleared some stuff up for you in the meantime. For those who didn't know, GPPNZD. So that applied to you as well in that question. Hey Shirley, hope you understand more what I'm on about. That's why you weren't knocked out, because it has a 12 pip spread. You were on a buy, I think, yeah, was a sell. I can't remember which way around, but the one hit it, but the other one didn't. Okay, GPPNZD. I do, as you know, I do the daily for my strategy down over the week, not often the month, sometimes 4 hour, 1 hour, whatever, just to see what movement there is. But I do my strategy on all of them on the daily. So with a bit of practice, you can look at it and you can see basically immediately, like a headline, what the likelihood of the possibility of a trade. So I'm looking at that, bang it on there. The first thing I see clearly is it's consolidating and it's in the sell zone. It's below the blue and the brown, and it's consolidating in a range. So let's have a look at this range. Let's put the lines in. The range, not exactly there. I'm going to put slightly more conservative, that one there, just to be more conservative, rather be more conservative and put it too wide. We'll use that as a range. Now, your next thing, you've got to check to see what that is. Doesn't look much on here, but it could be more than you think it is. Let's check. Ah, it's 133 pips. You looked at AUD dealing just now, and that distance in there and there was only 70 pips. On this one here, it's 130 pips. So just check the distance. It doesn't look much, but on the GBP for some reason, I don't know why, actually, to be honest. The smaller distance, but there's quite a lot of pips involved. So is that a tradable range? 140 pips? Absolutely right, it is. Absolutely, it is. Okay, so we can trade that range. Right. Do I want to buy the pound against the NZD at this stage of the game? Well, the overall fact on a fundamental basis is that dollar, New dollar, is slightly stronger than the pound. So I would rather be shorting the top of the range rather than buying the bottom of the range, because I think the more likelihood is a breakthrough this side than a breakthrough that side. If you get my thinking here, I'm thinking aloud. I see it immediately from practice. I'm explaining where it's coming from. So I would not be buying the bottom of the range. I'd rather be selling it. It's in the sell zone to give another tip to my strategy. So I will, this particular one, I will sell the break because the breakout is likely to be to the downside. So I don't want to be selling there. So I don't want to be buying there because it might not get back there before it comes further down. If it does get back up there, I'm not on board, and it comes off, I will sell it down, take profit, it breaks through, going again for moves down. So at this moment in time, and it can back it up by looking at the candles as we speak here. It tried to pop up, sellers came in. It's 10 hours old today, came down, it held the bounce. Remember, people sold short down there. They covered their short positions by buying. Some TPs are there, manually exiting there. That buying by just getting out, not buying to go into like a new order, buying to exit, push that up. You with me? Okay, but it didn't last long before the sellers came in again. So at this stage, wait for the breakthrough, or if it does, which I think this stage is unlikely, moves back here, sell it down. So we're going to sell it from here or a break. Hold on for the moment. That's my take on that one. Hope you all see what I mean by that. Any comments? Anyone look at the weekly? Do that. Do the weekly. Not much difference on that. We can look at the 4 hourly. And again, the sell zone on the 4 hourly, below both of them. As you can see, sellers are coming in. So you get my point. That it's defending the upside. We haven't broken out of the range yet, but we don't want to sell it at the floor. We want to sell it on the floor below or back up near the ceiling on this particular floor you're in at the moment. If you get the analogy I'm trying to get across. Well, it's a bit to be learned, Peter. I don't know how long you've been doing this, but I promise you faithfully, you might be a neurosurgeon, but when you first get in the car, you think this is impossible. And then after a while, you find, hang on a minute, I can change gear, chat to somebody sitting behind me, and maybe be on the cell phone at the same time. Didn't know just made 3 changes of gear. Comes practice. Just want to go through this till it's like a mantra. Repeat, repeat, repeat. You've seen, and the guys have been with me here in the training room, see me say the same stuff every time. Muscle memory, like a golf. It's 100,000 golf balls till it becomes natural. Okay, but anyway, getting back to Michelle, because I know he's traded a little bit before. Does that make sense to you, Michelle? Do you agree with me, disagree? Any comments on that? All good. As long as you understood it. The new guys, it'll take a couple of times. A skill takes a bit of time to get a hang of. If you can get it half an hour, you won't get paid anything because anybody can do it. Nobody's going to pay me to play football. They'll pay Messi a lot more. There's a slight difference in the skill between himself and myself. You get my point. Okay, NZDJPY. So I'm suggesting we leave it alone, like I mentioned. If you want to do something, come back to it. NZDJPY. I'm not here to complicate things, Shirley and Shirley. I'm just trying to open up that stuff can be learned. It's not that difficult, with a bit of practice, and rather start your journey by attending TRs and doing the stuff, because the strategy with most people don't do that, blind emotion, and normally comes back and bites. You don't want that to happen. You're right, was we on the daily? Yeah. It's attacking. I'm still weak on the yen, and I still think the dollars, so I like the fundamental part, that's to buy that and sell that. It's backed up again because it's in the buy zone above the two of them. And you're quite right. Who pointed that out, by the way? Brady, yeah, quite right. It's attacked, 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 attacked. You know, it's like if you keep throwing the ball at the wall, might be a million years, but then that ball goes through that damn wall. If you know what I'm saying. Okay, so it's attacking, attacking, attacking. Will it pull back this time or go for this time? Clearly, nobody knows. So rather than join it now as a buy, I wait till it breaks or pulls back and has another bash. If it comes back the 10-day moving average, which is only, remember, it's only 65 pips away, and that's already been there this morning. It might come back this afternoon, buy it for another attack or a breakout. Any questions? Any other thoughts? Any questions on that, Brady? Any other thoughts on that? Anne-Marie, anybody? Anybody got something to say on it? Agree, disagree? Members of forum? It's the way we learn, by discussing these things. Let me think about that. Just give me a second. Too many cups of tea. Excuse me. Yeah, well, it could be either. Quite right, Karen. Okay, Joe, so it happens, but I mean, this load shedding is a permanent menace anyway. Yeah. Wait for the confirmation. I agree. I think it's going to break through, but I'm not going to jump in now. I'm going to wait for the confirmation. It could pull back another time before it goes through. Okay. As I say, it's a bit quiet today at the moment. We've got quite a few trades out. I haven't posted anything on my group, which I'll come to in a moment to explain to those who don't know about it. Simply because I couldn't find one. I quite like the trading, but do find one. If we find one and we agree and we like it, I'll post it to the guys on my group. But I haven't got one at the moment, so I'm waffling about other stuff, trying to do maybe educational clarification areas. But yeah, resistance there at the moment. Yeah, well, there you are. You'll see technically, you can put the MACD's resist. You can put all those indicators on as much as you like, but just look at the chart. Anyone not see that's a resistance? It's clear in your face and easy. And that has more power, in my opinion, than all the others put together. That's why I would wait. It doesn't take long. See what I mean? Let's try another one to give an example. What about GBP JPY? Just fair of it. What does that tell you immediately? Above the two, buy zone. Resistance. Do you want to buy it now? Rather buy a pullback or a breakthrough? Bang, on to the next one. You don't be faffing around for the next half hour whether I should buy or not buy or what, where, why, what. And then you miss out something that's worth getting into. I do this every morning. I go right to the top and I start bang, 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 bang. It takes practice to do it, for goodness sake, like changing gear. And that's, oh, this takes more time. And I start look at it and I write it down until I've got 2 or 3 possible trades. You get the idea. Okay. You want us to do an exercise in it? You can do that. Let's do the euro dollar now on that subject. I haven't moved at all. It's still 60. Again, you know, why win? Right, here's a different scenario to make it more awkward for you. Why win to sell short when it's in the buy zone? Because it's believed here it's overvalued. That's why I sell. Now that takes a bit of experience. Okay, can't easily do that. Here it's a bit oversold or undervalued. So that's why it should look like it could bounce from there, which indeed occurred. I also look at this dollar, and the dollar is a secondary currency. You buy or sell the euro. Obviously, you sell the euro, you buy the dollar, you buy the euro, you sell the dollar. The dollar has got quite weak lately, and it's now going up. So the dollar is strengthening, the euro is weakening on the fundamental basis. That's why I checked my DXY to confirm it, and it's looking quite strong. And I think that the euro has got overvalued with a stronger dollar. It looks like I'd rather buy the dollar and sell the euro than sell the dollar and buy the euro. That was the idea behind it. And so far, it's not got to TP yet. It's not shot the lights out, but so far we're in profit. And always remember, position size is so important because go pear shaped. I want to talk about not winners now. I want to talk about winners. Winners. Easy. Let's talk about the loser, get an idea, and you get in perspective. We got into a trade at 83, down about this level here. Look at that. Remember, we don't know this candle. Forget that. You can't see it. This is the time here. Came back. Some buyers came in, and I thought 83. It's nicely oversold. I think we're going to get a bounce from here. We discussed the trading room, and most people agreed and liked it. What happened? Yes, we weren't to know that. That's why we had to stop, and we were stopped out. Okay. That was a loser. That's why you have to stop volumes for when you get it wrong. And with a bit of practice, you'll get it right more times than you get it wrong. The problem is, why do people still lose money when they get it right more than wrong? Because they don't have discipline in their position sizing. Let's say they go in 5 on this and 2 on 1 or 2 on the dollar yen. The dollar yen did well and they made 2. This lost, they lost 5. That's not correct. You got to get your, if you want to risk 500, stick to it. If you want to risk 300, stick to it. If you want to risk 1,000, stick to it without overexposing. Make sure you keep free margin in your account. You've got 10 grand in your account. You've got 4 open positions. You've got 200 rand margin left. For goodness sake, do not go into any more. Well, you can't, because you need a free margin to maintain the open position. Otherwise, you're going to get margin called. Remember that as well. So that's why you protect. So that was fine. And then the others seem to be working out all right. And protect yourself with the modification of stop losses. You will get a situation where you might make 3 winning trades, you made 30 pips on one, 40 on another, and 30 on the other one. And you stopped out the pullbacks and you protect yourself. You made 100 pips in total, 3 winning trades. Then you got a stop loss of 100 pips on the other one. It stops you out. You lose 100, and then you're back to square one. So just bear that in mind. Just watch those volumes and try and ride the winners. I did that to a certain extent on the yen before I must have kicked me out, but I made about 180 pips on it. I rode that winner. I could have rode a bit more, but I know now I could have. I didn't at the time. So 180 pips way overcame if I'd been stopped out. You get the general idea. Ride the winners and sort of cut the losses. And everyone says that, and everyone's obvious, but emotion takes over. We don't want to take the loss, so we hold on, hope it's going to come right. And then see a winning one. We don't want to go into a loss, so we grab it. So you're grabbing tiny profits and holding on to big losses. Either you win more than you lose, you still lose. You put that the wrong way around. Then your margin comes in. Remember, free margin, you have to have free margin. Another thing I want to come to is balances. It's absolutely, completely natural. You'd be inhuman otherwise. You start something new, not to go in all guns going. You start off small because you're unsure of yourself. That's fine, but don't, and that's no problem with that. And then if you've got more money than you put in, I have no problem with that. The problem is a lot of people are coming in by putting small amounts in and expecting big results. That goes against the laws of physics. You can't put water in a bottle and expect wine to pour out the other end. If you put a little in, that's understandable, but your returns are going to be minimal. Okay, that's fine till you get the hang of it, and then you can increase your balance. But do not expect a tiny balance, large rewards. It ain't going to happen. Well, put it this way, you might win the lottery on a 10 rand ticket, but the probability is you're going to lose your 10 rand. That makes sense. So expectations in this business it's extraordinary. People don't expect to do a 3-day course to come out as a doctor, but they expect to do a 3-day course of this and come out as a trading guru. No, it takes a bit of time. It takes knowledge, equipment, and quite frankly, it takes balance. It's a business. If you're undercapitalized, you're going to battle. Don't expect to compete with Pick and Pay if you've got a simple side of the road selling half a dozen eggs. You know, it's a slightly different business model. So yeah, hope that makes sense as well. And often we know the common sense, but we go into denial of it. It's not something we want to hear. I'm not trying to spoil a dream here, I'm trying to make it practical. Okay, AUD USD. Presume you're looking to sell. Yeah, looking to sell. You get, see, now, Pete, have you been doing this that long? Hey, Pete, have we been doing this a month, maybe 2 months? I don't know. He's asking questions and he's seeing what's going on. It doesn't take years. It needs concentration and grasping and asking questions. Yeah, agree with you. Well, as another way you can see we believe in the dollar. Okay, let's say we like the dollar. We think the Aussie, without looking at the chart, is slightly weaker than the US dollar at the moment. I think we agreed on that. So therefore, we look to sell it. Okay, look at these candles here. That high there, this high there is lower at the moment. Remember, this is not complete yet, still a work in progress. It bounced up, but the sellers came in before it took that out, before it even got to the 10-day moving average. It is trying, which same way on NZD, JPY, whatever, I forgot which one we just looked at now, it's trying to break up. I think it was Marshall was saying. This is trying to break down. Totally agree. It's trying to break down. We had a trade on this the other day, actually, didn't we? Yeah, 68 we got in. A lot of guys think was stopped out in the profit after modification. Never mind, you're out, make a profit. What a pleasure. I see the downside again. To me, it's extremely aggressive to go in now, expecting it. But Beckman, fortune favors the brave, as the cliche says. But yeah, I'm looking for downside on this. Maybe wait to break, something like that. What would ideally, if it breaks down to about there, pushes up to here, comes back down again, then you put your stop up here and TP down there, and away you go. That is probably the more prudent way of doing it. But you get some aggressive guys out there who says, right, I've done well, I can afford to go a bit of a punt, maybe a smaller position and be on board. I can always add to it later. That's another one. If you think it's going to come off and you want to risk, let's say, 100 units, not rand dollars, about 100 units, that's your risk profile. Maybe go for 50 now, if it breaks at the other 50, if it breaks through. So at least you're on board. Okay. Yeah, well, the Aussie dollar is a little bit stronger, to be honest. The increased interest rates, to be fair, by 0.25%, which is expected, but there's a little bit increase. There's a bit of relaxation of COVID restrictions in China. Remember, they've got a free trade agreement there, so that helped the Aussie's cause a little bit. But it's still not the strongest thing going. Other areas involved, but more to the point is the dollar seems more the safe haven. Money seems to be drifting towards that. So bottom line is, I think the dollar is slightly oversold and the Aussie is slightly overbought. So the value means it's slightly overvalued, slightly undervalued. So I see the downside. As we're talking now, it's materializing. There you are. Hit the stop loss. I saw it coming, so be it. Yeah, I'm in it now. I've got 56 or whatever is the stop, or 57. Was it 57? I don't remember. 57, yeah, 86.57. I expected to kept trying. Very surprised on that. I've had a couple of attempts on that one, and the thing is defying gravity. It's still going up. Very surprising. Anyway, so be it. That's what happened. Can't argue. If that happens, it happens. Yeah. Right. So that's it. Stop it there. So disappointing, not for me. I mean, you know, I thought the other guys who took the trade. So put a line on that. So the Brent NZD, two losers, but the euro dollar, CHF, JPY, the Meta, the ones are in the moment, and what the other one, Microsoft, are all doing well, and the previous ones last couple of days doing well as well. So try and bear that in mind. But there you are, it seems to be breaking to the south. Just quickly check the DXY. Yep, DXY is holding up nicely. It's above 105.60, so that's doing okay. So, right, the next question is, we're looking at the moment, Max. Before we look at that, end of the year, well, don't try and chase it now. If you stop, we stopped out. See what happens. Okay, cheers, Anna-Marie. So, anybody want to be aggressive going, or we're going to wait for a break? What do we want to do about this one? I think some people might still be in it. Yeah, yeah, just saying. Anyone have a look at this one? CXXL, not sure what that means. Okay, you happy with that? Right, we'll do it. Stop, where can I put the stop? Put it up here. That's not too bad. Only 80 pips away. So put the stop up here, 67.47, make it 67.50. And TP will put down here, 65.10. Okay. Sometimes does that to me. There we are. 2-to-1 risk reward. Remember, guys, my choice, I prefer 150 or better. It's clearly a lot better than 150. So that's the risk reward. If it gets there, it's a good chance of it. Might get a bit of noise here and a bit of noise there. If it gets that noise and bounce on the round figure of 66 and stops you out and you made 30, 40 pips, so be it. Yeah, certainly trying to come off. So there you are, if you like it. Let's say it's could bounce a bit. We seem to be on the way down. If you, let's say you want to risk 250, rather go one now and add to it later on with a slightly tighter stop. If you want to be highly aggressive, go in the full amount now, or whatever, or don't go in. That's your choice. I'm giving you the my reasoning, and then it's your responsibility or choice to say which one you go for. I don't want you sending me what you call it, screenshots of the reds that try to go against. Ultimately, whether you go or not, it's your responsibility. I can only advise. And obviously, I hope it's correct. So I don't like it when it goes wrong any more than anybody else. But there you are. Who likes it, bottom line? Anyone like it? Pierre likes it. Anybody else? Okay, well, that's fine. That's okay. I'll put that down. Do you guys rules the room, Michael? It's not particularly, we always break. It's not a big deal, just for a bit of fun. Is I like, other than myself, two people who like it and going to do it. Somebody said it looks interesting, or I might do it, or I'll go into my demo. No, real money in at that market price. I have two or more people do it. We call that a trade for the trading room. So I'll put it down now. 0.6677, 0.6750, 0.651, 0. Remember, you guys, ignore the 5th decimal point. Don't worry about it. We're after pips, not points. 10 points, 1 pip. Okay, so the 4th decimal point is 1 you're after. Okay, right. Let's see how that goes. You're still in, well, and you're smiling, Schiffer. Just modify your stop and watch the profits roll in. Just don't tell your husband about it. For goodness sake, keep yourself. You might want you to buy him a new car or something, Dale. Just kidding. Okay, let's see how that works out then. Look, you've all got it. I've got it written down to come back to if you missed it. Remember, keep a pen and paper handy. I mentioned before, if it's moving quickly, it's not that quick at the moment, but if it's moving quickly, maybe and you've worked out your volumes, go in with the entry, buy or sell, and then you can modify SL and TP afterwards. If you're busy going for the new order and putting SL in and the TP in, by the time you get into the trade, you might have moved 10 pips in your favor. Okay. Okay. At least you've got one out today. I'm not too sure myself, but well done. Normally find one the trader we can quite happy about. Okay, good thing we can go to Brent. It's broken 79 now, so it's still hovering, still hang 5 on that. One I can keep my eye on is going nowhere. Is this one here. This one I'm looking for a buy, but it's not happening. I don't know what's wrong with this candidate at all. Okay, let's have a look. Our euro dollar has popped up a bit. So I think guys have moved this stop, probably the right thing to do. I think it's a bit early at the moment to move the stop to entry. Don't stop down, to still see the downside. Short term ZD CAD do now. Probably coming off now, stopped out. No, it's still about the stop level here. Okay. CHF JPY is still doing well. This guy's still in it. Quick recap there. It's popped back below 146, but never mind, you're doing okay. Okay. Anything else to look at? I think the pound dollar we looked at, we want to confirm. I don't think I was too keen to go in it now. I do expect downside. Yeah, confirmation was the correct. Trying to do a bounce now. Wait for the breakthrough here. See more clearly there. Okay, wait for the break. 250 coinciding breakdown there. Leave it for the time being. See, that was correct to wait as it turns out. And this one, the ship sailed. I said goes out, getting at 136 between trading room times. It pulled back in the afternoon sometime. Don't know if anyone took it at 136, but if they did, they're smiling. Don't chase it now. So nice to know some winning trades are coming out. Okay. Oh, sorry, it's USCMD. I forgot that. US dollars, just saw it now. Someone asked about it. My problem with this one, guys heard me before, probably going to hear it again. I think the Swissy is strong. I think the dollar is strong. So you're putting two heavyweights in the ring. I'd rather put a heavyweight against a lightweight. It's more clear who you're going to bet on. I think it's 100%. The heavyweight could have a heart attack, and the little nerd there will win the match. But the probability is he's not going to have a heart attack and will win it, if you see what I'm saying. Yeah, so the Swiss franc is the most stable currency going and pretty strong. And the dollar's gaining strength. So if you buy that, you've got to sell the Swissy I'm nervous about. If you sell it, if you're buying the Swiss, you mean you've got to sell the dollar, and I'm a bit nervous doing that. So for that point of view, I would leave it. Now it's backed up by the buyer, the seller. Look at the indecision candle, indecision candle. Buyer's not control, seller's not control. See my point? That's what I would leave that. The CAD CHF is a different, US dollar CAD's a different ball game. It broke through. I mentioned it yesterday. Technically, that's a buy. Not many people, for whatever reason, were keen on it. The Canadian we thought would start to maybe strengthen them up sometimes, but still continuing its weakness. But a technical basis, I mentioned that's a buy because it broke through. Look, it held exactly there, closed above the 50 and opened the next day at midnight, wherever it is, 1 o'clock, wherever it is, opened. You with me? Above the 50. That would have been the buy, and then you buy it, and then it seems to be doing okay. A bit of resistance there, but even so, if you got in around about these levels here, you'd been about 60 on 5 pips up, would have been okay. Guys didn't like it, so we didn't go for it. Now, so let's have another look at it then. Do we go for it now? Not so sure about that. Canadian is weak, but it can't go on forever. I've said that 8 times. But yeah, I think this is out of the Swiss franc with the Canadian. I'd rather sell the Canadian with the increasing strength of the dollar than the Swiss franc. Okay, that makes sense. You guys went for short for CAD CHF, did we? Might have done, but don't think lately. Done so many trades. Not sure about that. If we did, I don't remember when. If we did, we're probably smiling now. That was a week or two ago, wasn't it? Was it last week? Can't remember. I know we did some stage, we just selling it. Can't remember when. Anyway, bottom line is whether you're in it or not, look at it. It's come off nicely. That's how strong the Swiss franc is. Now, I think some of my point about the dollar Swiss. You get it now. I just think somewhere along the line, it's just got to get the stage where that Canada's got to get some strength there. Could be here, in fact. Look at this. This is a weekly chart going back to 2020. Bloody hell, nearly 2 years ago. It's right down these lows. I think we can get a bounce on here. Buy the CAD against the Swiss. Are you mad? But I think there's got to be somebody profit-taking bounce somewhere. Anyway, interesting. So yeah, not keen. Anyway, I'll still leave him. Looks like a profit-taking bounce in the offing. Still worried about selling that Swissy. Okay, hope that makes sense. GBP CAD, somebody mentioned, I think, we'll have a look at that one. That's been defying gravity as well. I think that's defying gravity, and that's I don't know what's with the Canadian, but it's still going up. Look at this. When is this now? September. What's that now? 3 months ago, just under 3 months ago, it's gone up by 2,600 pips. Incredible against a resource economy like Canada. Incredible. With all the debts and all the inflation, all the problems they've got in the UK. That's just amazing. I personally, that's not going to last forever, but I said that this level here, I said it this level here, I said this level, I even said it here, looking like a downside is going to come about. So, no. Defying gravity, so I'll leave it. Starts pulling off nicely, we can have a look at it. This is not giving me enough confirmation. It won't defy gravity a little bit longer. I think the pound currency is full of helium at the moment. Okay, I've gone for a couple there. Anything you want to go back to? Anything you like? Does this like? Quick check the Aussie dollar before close. A little bit above, but that's the noise. It might get to 0.67 before it comes off. So a bit. Your stops out of the way, don't panic. Might get to 67 and come off from there if you're not in. Okay. Just wondering if guys in the euro dollar clearly hold, but anyone not in it might get an opportunity here. Had a bounce off there. Look how it works, eh? Look at that, amazing. Ooh. Got to 80 just now. All I'm trying to look at now is maybe a chance of a short on this one. Someone's not on board. What's happened? Why has someone jumped up there? Nothing happened on the economic front. Nope. Don't forget, by the way, Canada. Don't forget, Canada, 5 o'clock today, interest rate decision. Do not forget that. So, yeah. If it increases likely, it might increase some, it might get some Canadian strength. It's a wide stop, but how do you want to chase this now? I'm not totally against it. If you're not in, that's only if you're not in. Obviously, you're in the game. Hold on, you're doing okay. But I don't think it's a complete disaster. It might jump up 5 or 10, might come off. I don't know. But I think the overall is downside. Anyone want to try and get this one? No. You're in or you're going to leave it. Okay, fair enough then. No problems. Still in. Yep, means, what does yep mean? You're still in or you want to look at it? Mike. Look at it, okay. Again, sorry to repeat, I know you're not dark, you forget sometimes when emotion takes over. Do not double up. If you're in, great. Something very strange gets back there, and TP. I have to make it a bit lower down here. What's the TP in the original one? Maybe stick with that one. 0255. Yeah, still a risk reward, well worth it. It's 200 bucks. I'd rather have the wide stop rather than tighter stop, so you get a bigger position and you go and get stopped out. So just remember, it's 1 micro, it's 200 buck risk. So if you got anything below about anything below 5 grand, sorry, only do a micro. Above 5 grand, or 4 grand, should we say, you can do 2 micros. Okay, so if you haven't and you want to join it, just bear that in mind. So if you've got a 2 grand account, 1 micro, 3 grand account, 1 micro, 4 grand account, your choice whether to go to 1 or 2. Okay. Certainly a 5 grand account, you can go 2. A 10 grand account, maybe go 3. You get the idea. But yeah, if you've got a 500 rand account, forget it. If you've got a 1,000 rand account, I'm not so sure. That's 20%. 200 rand is 20% of 1,000. That's hectically overexposed. So I think anything below 2 grand, give this one a miss. Just my little suggestion there. Okay. Well then, hold there, please. Yeah. Leave a stop loss for the time being where it is. We'll have a look again this afternoon, unless you want to modify in the meantime. Don't have to wait for me, but we'll have a look again this afternoon and see if it's worth modifying, if it comes right. We'll look at the pound dollar as well, and maybe get an opportunity there. So we'll line some up. Okay, that sets the session. I hope you all learned. Done a bit of rambling on, but it was necessary stuff because I'm trying to clear up those issues which seem to be bothering a lot of people, and hopefully that will also basically come right for you. Okay, so thanks for attendance. Thanks for joining in. Hope you all benefit from it, and yeah, catch you this afternoon. Cheers, man. Thanks, guys. Cheers.